Now, on the Yankee side of things, because the Yankees and Mets have kind of been in the same boat since at least the beginning of June. The Yankees are 5-1 since our last show. They went 2-1 versus Minnesota. Really should have swept. Then they did sweep the Cardinals 3-0. They're 7-3 in their last 10, 67-57 overall. 5.5 games back of Toronto, a half game back of Boston and Seattle for the first and second wild cards. The Yankees are 3.5 up on Cleveland for that third wild card spot. I'm not ready to say they've turned a corner yet, just because I need to see how they play in their 4-game set versus Boston.
Yeah, that's huge.
Because, as much as the Cardinals had something to fight for, the Twins had no fight in them. They're not playing for anything. The Cardinals are a team a lot of people were down on. So it's great that they're getting back in the win column and, their pitching is going a little deeper. They're getting contributions from third base all of a sudden. What a novel idea. Having somebody who can also play shortstop and spell Volpe and Jose Caballero. Again, who would have thought that you needed a player that could do that and that could contribute hitting the ball? But I'm not ready to say the Yankees are back or anywhere near back until we start to see them play Boston tougher, Toronto tougher.
No, I agree. I think that I don't want to say back, but starting to find identity, I think, is a good way to talk about this team. I do think with Judge fully healthy and in right field, this team does have the most dangerous lineup in the AL come playoff time. And that's obviously a spot that can propel you to a World Series title if you get hot at the right time. I feel like that's kind of what happened with the Rangers. Their pitching was decent in that series, but it was the bats. The Yankees pitching, Fried and Rodon have been solid at the top. Fried's fallen off a little bit. Rodon's come on a little bit, ups and downs of the season. Will Warren has been their third best pitcher this year, which has been surprising. He's actually been coming on, a lot better, kind of living up to maybe some of those Michael King comps. So maybe don't trade Will Warren this offseason before the breakout happens next year. And then Luis Gil had a bad first start, had a good second start. So hopefully that's your 4-man rotation going into the postseason. When I look at the Yankees schedule, similar to the way that I did the Mets.
Don't even skip Cam Schlittler either, because for a rookie who, started the year in Double-A and had a pretty meteoric rise this season, he's been
got
incredible.
gas. And he could be, I think that they would go with the 4 guys that I said for postseason, but a guy who can hit 100 out the pen as a potential 2-inning reliever if something goes south is not a bad option to have. And then, we look at the Yankees schedule. The next 3 weeks are incredibly massive. You have 2 at Tampa and then a 4-game set versus Boston. Then you have Washington and the White Sox, which is meh. But then starting September 2nd, 3-game set at Houston, 3-game set versus Toronto, 3-game set versus Detroit, 3-game set at Boston. That from September 2nd to September 14th is going to decide if the Yankees are AL East champions or if there is a ton of pressure on what should be a cakewalk to end the season. Starting September 15th at Minnesota, 3-game set, at Baltimore, 4-game set, versus Chicago, 3-game set, versus Baltimore, 3-game set. In the Yankees last, 13, 14 games, something like that. They should have a 75 to 80 win percentage going into the playoffs. If in that 3-week stretch that's coming up here, they could be above 500 and really get wins against Boston and Toronto, the AL East is still up for grabs for the Yankees despite where they are right now.
I mean, that stretch will determine, do they even make the playoffs? Do they even finish above 500? If they play like they have before this recent 10-game stretch, there's not a guarantee they win a single game.
They'll probably walk their way into a game, but I hear you. When you look at the Yankees in the AL, it's still they still have the best run differential in the entire league. They have a 93% shot to make the playoffs per ESPN. That is the 3rd highest behind Toronto and Detroit. So, the Yankees schedule is favorable down the stretch, but that stretch there that we talked about, that 3-week stretch. They have to, win 4 of 7 against Boston. They have to get 2 of 3 versus Toronto. You should get 2 of 3 versus Detroit. Like, it's time to win series.
Now, this is also a huge series on Boston, and Boston, they're 4-6 in their last 10. They've kind of been struggling a little bit. They need to win these games just as much as the Yankees do. Toronto
this is playoff baseball in August. Excuse me.
Toronto, they want that 1 seed. They're a half game up on Detroit for that top spot in the AL. Even Houston is about 3.5 games back of them. So all these teams that the Yankees are playing, they're just as hungry as they are to have some wins.
Yeah, that's what you hope. You hope that the Yankees are hungry. Under Aaron Boone, there has certainly been times where, urgency has lacked.
Now, I don't know if you've looked into anything Clint Frazier has said on his podcast about the Yankees. I do find it a little interesting. Like how basically he's saying that, it doesn't make sense to be mad at Boone. He's a patsy. He's not the one making the lineups. He's not making many of the decisions that people are upset at.
Well, so we've talked about that for as long as the podcast has gone on, and I have zero connection to the Yankee organization, but you've, said your displeasures with Aaron Boone multiple times and how the Yankees should fire him. And every time I've said to you, they won't fire him. He is simply a front yes man that will do exactly what Cashman and the analytics team tell him to do and say, yes, sir.
And every time we've discussed that, we kind of end up saying, if you fire Boone, you're just going to get another Boone clone that might not be as well liked by the locker room. So what are you really gaining from that?
Yeah, and ultimately, we can complain as much as we want as Yankees fans. We were in the World Series last year, so, we'll see how the playoffs go this year, but it's not like Cashman and the analytics team have done terrible.
No, but we were hungry.
But there is a standard when you're in World Series contention every year that you want to win one, obviously.
But then you have Clint Frazier saying that Cashman is a gangster, how there was the one pitcher that didn't want to be here, and, that they got shipped off the team that they traded for in, I think, 2019. And then how in that spring training the following season, Cashman went to the team and said, I have a plane ticket for you. Anybody who doesn't want to be here, get the heck out of here. We don't want you. And how, also the Yankees are really bad with injuries. Frazier is saying that Stanton not playing after starting 3 games in the outfield means there's a guarantee he's hurt because the Yankees like to hide things and prolong it as long as possible. Kind of giving.
I don't think Stanton's hurt. I think that they went from a New York short porch to the Cardinals Stadium, which has a pretty deep outfield, and they thanked their lucky stars that Giancarlo Stanton didn't have to make any crazy plays in New York, and we're just like, let's not set him up for failure in St. Louis.
Don't doubt that the off day Thursday led him to wake up Friday with some really sore legs, though.
That's possible, but who knows? Maybe he got some cardio in behind the scenes that we don't know about.
Now you're at Tampa, same dimensions as Yankee Stadium. Then you go to Yankee Stadium for 7.
Yeah,
we should probably, even if Judge plays right field, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave Stanton a little bit more time out there just to ease Judge back into it, because getting Judge back to 100% is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, if Stanton shows that he can, get a game here and there in the outfield again, that only helps the Yankees keep Judge fresh.
Well, obviously, we'll talk about it closer to playoff time, but Aaron Judge has to be Aaron Judge in the playoffs, and you have to give him an opportunity to be healthy to be Aaron Judge in the playoffs.